Hello, and welcome. We're doing something a little different today. As the ominous music and whispering carries on in the background. Let me just fix up my headset. Alrighty. So, we are playing the test. So, or maybe we're answering the test, I'm not sure how to describe it. But this game is recommended to me by Maya Neko-chan. And I've heard it's really good. So we're going to be giving it a go. I don't hugely know what to expect. But if anybody could let me know about like the volume mixing and all that, if it's alright, that would be appreciated. But I don't hugely know what to expect. Other than that, it's apparently going to read me at the end, so it's going to tell me all about myself, I suppose, based on my answers. So it would be an interesting time. Let's go. There are a series of these games as well. If this one goes okay. Now, in order to begin, this is the most important part of this entire experience. You'll be asked a series of questions, you must answer them honestly. Now, when I say answer them honestly, I don't mean answer them how you'd like to answer them. Answer them with truth, even if that's hard to face. We all want to be good people. We rarely want to admit our faults, grievances, or mistakes. But you must decide what you truly want. You want this to work properly. Do you want the truth about yourself, your destiny in this world? Or would you rather live a lie just to hide from yourself? The process is very simple in theory. Just answer a long series of questions. What's difficult is self-analyzing your own psyche to evaluate the truths in your own mind and life so that you can predict your future. You see, as long as you're honest with these questions and answers, you'll be able to see your own future here. This will tell you things you already know, but don't necessarily know that you know. This is always an interesting, I guess, philosophical debate. The idea of things that you know, but there's, what was the quote? So there's things that we know, right? So there's things that we can observe that are true, right? So if I look outside and the sun's out, I can say it's daytime. Like, that's true. Then there's things that we know that we know. So I know that I know about maths or whatever. There's things that we don't know that we know. Maya, hello. Welcome. Just in time. I'm just going off on a philosophy rant. So there's things that we don't know that we know. So, for example, I can't think of any examples. Then there's things that we know that we don't know. So I know that I don't know anything about science, right? Biology, chemistry, physics, whatever. I know very little. I know that those are unknowns. Then there's unknown unknowns. So things that I'm not even aware of that I don't know. Anyway. As long as the answers you provide to the questions asked are 100% honest and true, this process will simply unlock a part of your mind that you do not have natural access to. This isn't psychic. This isn't a personality test. This is simply nature. Okay? This is you. This is your own mind. This is simply nature taking its course. This is the human brain at work unlocking truths within itself. Okay. While attempting to answer many of these questions, you'll often wonder things like, well, this answer depends on the circumstances. Create your own circumstances in your mind and answer the questions with a simple yes or no as you see fit. You may not understand nor realize it, but your mind will develop the situation required to answer your question the way it needs to be answered. So they're saying it's okay to, like, potentially add, like, minor details to the questions or, like, create, like, a situation in your own head. Okay, that's cool. Let's not just answering the question as it is. That is Japanese. Tasukete. Oh, God. Wow, there's a piece of information that you wouldn't have been able to get if you couldn't read Japanese. This is help. Yeah, tasu... Wait, this is different. But I don't know why there's an A here. This is tasukete. But I don't know why it's written in katakana. because it's Japanese. It should be written in hiragana. Anyway. I invite you to grab a drink of water, sit back, relax, and enjoy the experience. We're about to begin with a series of questions, and provided that you're a willing participant, we'll be unlocking some substantial information today. Here we go. You believe that everyone should always be treated fairly. I guess the episode, I'm assuming the questions are going to get more difficult, but like I'm somebody who firmly believes that all life should be treated with respect. So there is like a base level of fairness and respect that you should treat everyone. It's not to say that you should just inherently treat one person badly for some reason. So yes, I do believe this. I believe that everyone should always be treated equally. So, this is an interesting question because I probably have a bit more context than most people who would answer this question. So there's a difference between equality and equity, right? So equally means everyone's treated exactly the same. Whereas equity is people are given what they need. So there's a there's like an image, right? People may have seen it, where there's three people who are trying to watch a game of soccer, I think, and they're behind a fence. One person's tall, one person's medium height, one person's short. And under the law of equality, they're all given one box. So the tall person can see well over the fence. They could see over the fence even if they didn't have the box. The person who's the medium height can see over the fence just fine. But the short person can't see over the fence even though they're given one box. Because they need another box to get up. And then, under the rules of equity, the tall person doesn't need a box. So the box is instead given to the person who actually needs it. The debate of equality versus equity. I mean, it's tricky, right? So equality versus equity. They're equal. Everyone's treated exactly the same. Even though I know about this debate, I'd still say yes to this. Have you ever invented anything? No. Well, would I consider like my VTubing as inventing Kuroneko Kazuya? Hey, Mello, how you doing? Good to see you. Posture, good idea. And welcome, Luca, as well. Have I ever invented anything? I mean, it depends how you define invented, right? Because you could argue I've invented Kuroneko Kazuya as a character, right? I'm going to interpret this as like, actually invented something that has utility. So I'll say no. You believe that you're worthy of someone's time investment. Oh, God. Worthy is a tricky word here. I don't know if I like the word worthy here. Because I think at the bottom line is that nobody, like, has to give you the time of day. But I guess the question is not asking if they have to, it's asking if I deserve it. Hey Mo as well, welcome. Do I deserve it? I think if you'd asked me this a few months ago, I probably would have disagreed. But there's been a big shift in my psyche. I think, yeah, I do deserve it. Would you consider yourself to be open-minded? This is one where I would like to, if possible, answer like in the middle ground, right? Because there's some things that I won't be convinced on. But, that being said, being open-minded doesn't mean that you're always willing to change your views. It just means that you're willing to listen to it, right? Like, I consider myself somebody who's always willing to listen to people's perspectives, even if I disagree. So, yes. Would you say that you sometimes have trust issues? Yes. I think that's true. I mean, this is an easy question to ask and to answer because it's sometimes. Like, because if it was you always have trust issues, no. There's some people that I trust implicitly. There's a few people in the chat that I trust implicitly. So, sometimes, yes, absolutely, I sometimes have trust issues. I've been burnt before, and I'm always a bit skeptical about certain people because of their association with other people that I have issues with. So yes, I would have trust issues sometimes. Would you be alright with living alone forever? Again, this is another one that's probably fairly recent. If you asked me this like midway through last year, I probably would have said yeah, I wouldn't mind it, but I don't think I could anymore. No. You always give someone the benefit of the doubt. Always. 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 So the benefit of the doubt for people who don't know means like, you don't know the person, right? Or maybe you do know them. And let's say, you know, for instance, like this situation. Okay, this situation's a bit extreme, but I walk into this room, I see this dead person, and this guy's standing in the room. Most people would assume that this guy killed the person, right? And he says, I didn't do it. Giving the benefit of the doubt would mean that I would be like, oh yeah, sure, you know, I trust you. I don't think I would always give someone the benefit of the doubt. Most of the time I think I would, but not always. Do you just like the sound of your own voice? Yes. Next question. Do you like the color blue more than the color black? Yes. If found money in the street and knew who it belonged to, would you give it back to them? This is a good question, actually. You have to see if he has blood on him. I mean, he could have cleaned himself. There is a bucket there full of blood, so he could have easily washed the blood off. So, I have found money in the street before. Like, I've found just like a $50 note before, but obviously I didn't know who it belonged to, so I just kept it. It was just basically like, well, you know, tough luck. If I knew who it belonged to, I would give it back to them. Are you sure you want the answers you seek? Do I really want the answers? Yes. Are you afraid of spiders? I guess here we go. It depends how you define afraid, right? Like, do I have a phobia of spiders? Absolutely not. Are there some spiders which could kill me, particularly in Australia? Yes. Do I fear the idea of being killed by a spider? Lightly. Am I actually inherently afraid of spiders? Not really. No. If you knew you would emerge unscathed, would you jump into molten lava? Just out of like curiosity's sake? But how would I know that I would emerge unscathed? I'm generally a person who's quite risk averse when it comes to these sorts of things. Like, I'm not interested in like extreme sports or stuff like that. So even if I knew that I would emerge unscathed, I still don't think I would do it. Partially because I would doubt myself for thinking that. And I would also doubt, let's say, the person who... Because I guess the idea is like, are you curious to see what being inside molten lava is like, even if you knew you wouldn't get hurt? Not really, no. I would not do it. That seems... Like, I'm not interested in that. Like, I don't see the value in that. It doesn't seem fun to me. It would still be hot. No, I'm good. Would you consider yourself to be fat? No, I'm not. I'm not fit by any means. I'm pretty skinny. Like, I think I weigh like 75 kilos or something like that. I'm probably considered like at level or slightly even below weight. So... I would not consider myself to be fat. But I say I have lots of charisma. Now, people in the chat might say, yes, you do. Would I say it? I don't think so. And I guess it depends what you mean by lots of charisma. Like, I'd say I have a reasonable level. Like, I feel like I can connect to people pretty easily. But lots of charisma. Lots. Yeah. That's what I was thinking, man. I know people in the chat would say, yes, you do, but... You got the Riz. I don't think I do. I would not say this. Other people might say this, but I would not say this. Have you ever wished you could be temporarily frozen? Like, frozen in ice? Or just frozen like a PC? But what's the benefit of this? You would wish that? Why? Cryostasis, like in StarCraft. No, what? I don't see the value in this. What's the point of that? Yes? Are you, Maya? Can you explain that? To skip time for something to come out. Oh, I get that. But still, I would say no, because I'd be missing out on other stuff in the interim. I mean, sleep is sort of like that, is it not? This is all very interesting. You realize the last out of the previous 5 questions, when you spelled the name Satan. Did I realize it? No, I did not. Does that make you uncomfortable? Not really. Like, I mean, this is your attempt to try and unnerve me, I suppose. It was done on purpose, yeah, so... Does it make me uncomfortable? Not really. I mean, if I realized it, it probably would have been like, whoa. But you're just telling me this now. It's like, okay, sure. I believe it. Are you good at finding hidden puzzles or clues? Like when we did the escape room, I'm not necessarily good at finding stuff that's hidden, but I'm good at putting stuff together. So I'd say I'm not good at finding clues. Are you now wondering what other hidden messages are placed within these questions? Am I wondering what other hidden messages are placed within these questions? I mean, you've gotten me curious, so yeah, I would say yes. Have you been entirely honest with your answers thus far? Yes, I have. Are you afraid of the consequences for answering the questions dishonestly? No. Bottom line is, I know this is a video game, so I'm not necessarily afraid of any consequences for this. Well, you're always aware that there could be consequences for answering dishonestly. No, I mean, obviously not, you didn't tell me that. Are you wondering how these questions began to take a strange turn? Not really. Like, I knew that this would be... I knew this wasn't going to be just like, hey, what's your favorite color? And like, stuff like that. And they're like, oh, you're a daffodil. It's not a BuzzFeed question. I was expecting this. Would you consider yourself captivated? Captivated. Captivated. I mean, I would say more I'm intrigued than captivated. Like, realistically, I could Alt F4 this game right now, and I wouldn't feel anything, so, no. Very interesting. Would you consider yourself to be brave? As a whole, probably not. That's a really good question. There's definitely times when I can be brave. But I think in general, I don't think I'm a particularly brave person. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a coward, but I wouldn't say I'm brave either. Give yourself as someone with above average intelligence. Do I view myself as that? Like, a lot of people say that I'm pretty smart. I know Maya's here. Maya's going to say you are smart and stuff like that. You know, when you give spoilers, the game made you cry on streaming. I remember you telling me. Like, I think... Like, because I don't like talking myself up, so, like, as much as I would like to answer no, because I'm like... I don't want to say that I am. The bottom line is, like, I'm somebody who's pretty well educated. I'm pretty well read. I'd say probably yes. I wouldn't say it's massively above average, but I think it's probably true. Have you been looking for hidden messages in these questions? No, I have not. I wonder which hidden messages you may have missed. Yeah, I'd say so. Have you begun to wonder how long this test will take, or how many questions exist? No, I'm pretty happy to just go along with the ride, I think. Like, I'm not, like, thinking, I wonder how many more questions there are, or how long it's going to take. Like, I'm committed to completing this in this sitting. So I don't think I'm particularly concerned about, you know, I've got to be somewhere, you know. How long is it going to take? No. Would you consider yourself to be a patient person? Overall, yes. I can be a little impatient sometimes. But in general, especially when it comes to people, I can be very, very patient. Like, a person could ask me the same question, like, a bunch of times, and I'd probably be be willing to answer it over and over again. I think generally I'm a pretty patient person. Do most humans annoy you? Most. There's an interesting question. Do most humans annoy you? Do most humans annoy you? Oh! What happened? What happened? Hey, Ice Bear, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it a lot. Welcome to the Cousin Yans. Not sure why Nightbot's not sharing notifications, but do most humans annoy you? No, I don't think so. There's definitely many that do, but I wouldn't say that most. Do you prefer animals to people? Yeah, I'd say so. People can be, because the big difference between humans and animals is that humans know what they're doing. Animals do bad things. There's some animals that do really horrible things, but the bottom line is they don't necessarily strictly know. They don't have a concept of right or wrong. They're just living their instincts. Humans know that stuff is wrong, and they do it anyway. But I guess the question is, would I rather live with people or with animals? I love animals a lot. No. You believe in magic? Do I answer this as Kaz or as me? I believe in magic. I mean, it depends what you mean by magic, right? Like, do I think that there are people who have gifts or abilities beyond what should be physically possible? Probably. Yeah, I guess it depends how you define magic, right? Like, if we're talking like Penn and Teller, you know? There are magic and miracles are magic too. Yeah. Like, I think I want to say yes, but I'm stuck on like what... I don't think it's just Hogwarts stuff. Like, obviously, like, I don't think people are capable of, you know, saying Excelsior or whatever the hell they say in Harry Potter and shooting out like a magic beam out of their wand. But are there people that can know things and see things that they shouldn't? Or that, not that they shouldn't, that most humans would not? Yes. And I think if we take that lens, yes, I do. Do you believe in God or the existence of some form of high power? I do. Do you fear death? You don't fear it? As much as I want to be brave and say no, there's always that lingering. And it doesn't say necessarily death for myself, right? It could be I fear the death of others, right? Just death as a concept. Whatever happens to me, happens to me, but I know there's some people that I couldn't bear to live without. So in that perspective, I do fear what death can do. Are you attracted to someone whom you're not currently in a relationship with? No. I'm very happy with my situation right now. I won't go into it in detail, but I'm not attracted to someone who I'm currently in a relationship with. Wait, let me read the question again. I need to make sure I'm reading this correctly. No, I'm not. Did you say the last question with 100% honesty? Absolutely. Are you alone? Like in my house or in my room? Are we defining this? Or just in a cosmic sense? Okay, I think like there's other people in my house, so I'm not alone. If I told you with utmost certainty that there's something watching you, would you believe me? I mean, I know that there's people watching me. I've got exactly Twitch chat. And whatever else is going on out there. But the question is not, is there somebody watching me? Right? Think about this, chat. Think about this. The question is not, is there somebody watching you? The question is not, is there someone watching you? It's, if I said there was someone watching you, would you believe me? Right? So what question am I answering? Am I answering, is there someone watching you, yes or no? Or do you believe me if I were to say that there's somebody watching you? I'm kind of stuck on this question because I'm not sure what question I'm answering. If you told me that there was someone watching me, would I believe it? I think I'm overcomplicating myself now. Yes, I think I would believe you. Have you wondered who I am? I have not. Have you had shivers at any point during this session? I just got them now when he asked that. I have actually before. I can't remember which question it was, but there was one that like gave me a bit of shivers. So yes. Do you feel like you're being watched? Well, I'm looking at my second screen. I can see Luca, Haskell, Mo, Harold, and Maya over there. So yes, I do feel like I'm being watched. Have you considered quitting this session early? I did say like I wouldn't be afraid of like closing it, but I haven't like said like I'm just gonna close the game. I'd said I wouldn't feel anything if I did close it early, but I haven't thought actually about doing it. Do you drink water every day? Yeah. Do you eat at least once per day every day? Yeah. You realize there's a high probability you missed a plethora of hidden messages thus far? Yeah, probably. I'm wondering what they are. Yeah. Hey, Neko, how you doing? Yeah, I am curious what the hidden messages are. Would it bother you to never know without finding them yourself? Whoa. Would it bother you to never know without finding them yourself? Now, here's an interesting one. This is a really good question. Because they're not asking me, would it bother you to never know the hidden messages? Because that would be kind of a yes. But would it bother me to never know without having found it myself? No, I'd be happy to just be told what they are rather than to find them myself. I'm the type of person who doesn't mind, like, spoilers and stuff like that, so I think this would fall into that category. It wouldn't bother me if I didn't find them myself, but if I found out later, I was like, ah, that's cool. I never knew that, or something like that. So it wouldn't bother me if I didn't find them myself. Is your favorite number 7? I mean, okay. So the answer is yes. But I feel like it's like the majority of, like, not the majority, I feel like a plurality of people's favorite number is 7, right? 7 is considered a lucky number in a lot of cultures, a lot of faiths, stuff like that. So I'm not like surprised to see this question here. It's actually a common tactic that like those what I would consider to be fake psychics use, right? They ask very general questions because they know that like they'll hit some marks eventually. So you've probably seen those people where they like pretend to like talk to like a person's like dead relative. I'm not saying that that sort of stuff isn't possible, but I feel like a lot of the people that do those like shows and stuff are faking it. Because I don't think that if you had those sorts of abilities that you would waste your time doing stuff like that, like on TV or whatever. They ask very vague questions, and they wait until you latch onto something, then they just follow that thread. I don't know why I'm talking about this instead of just answering the question yet. My number is 7. Life is short, but it's the longest thing we'll ever do. Is this question indirectly asking if you believe in the afterlife? In that case, no. Oranges cannot be compared to apples. Do you agree? I mean, What is this question actually asking? Because on a certain level, if you're trying to ascertain the quality of apples, to compare them to another fruit is pointless. You could compare them as fruits. You could compare them as just food, broadly speaking. You can compare oranges to apple. Venus is sometimes referred to as the morning star. Did you know that? I have heard this, yes. Everyone deserves a second chance. Do you agree? As much as I want to say no, and that there's some people who do something so horrible that they don't ever deserve a second chance, I do believe that everyone does deserve one. You can do anything you put your mind to, do you agree? I guess anything is the key word here, right? Absolutely anything. No. Not anything. Obedience is more important than freedom, do you agree? Obedience versus freedom. How deep do we want to go with this? Because there's also a certain freedom in obedience. No. I think we should all be free to make our own decisions in the end. Whatever happens, happens. We'll be judged for our decisions, but we are free to make them. Underwater adventures sound like a fun time, do you agree? No. Did you realize the first letters of the 8 previous questions spelled the phrase, I love you? I did not know that. You wish to be loved. Yeah, of course. Have you ever felt hated? Yes. Do you have any addictions? Addictions. I suppose it depends how you define addictions. Like, are there things that I enjoy doing a lot? Yes. Would I say I'm addicted to anything? Shiny hunting? Kit Kats. You guys are funny. Like, would I call them addictions? Like, do I sacrifice? Because I think an addiction, if we have to look at it from like a medical lens, right? An addiction is something that like interferes with your daily life. Like, it's to the point where like you can't function without it. Like, I can live without, as much as I like Kit Kats, as much as I like shiny hunting, I wouldn't say that they're addictions. There was that one stream. Which stream? That didn't happen. What stream didn't happen? Stream didn't happen. Because I guess, as I said, it depends how you define addiction. Because Australia didn't happen because of shiny hunting. Was there? Maybe. You have any addictions? Look, obviously there's things that I really enjoy doing, but I wouldn't say that I'm addicted to anything. So no. Do you dislike the color pink? No. Does the color grey seem depressing? No, I don't think so. Like, obviously people say like it's a grey day, meaning like, you know, it's kind of a sad, depressing sort of day, but the color grey isn't inherently depressing, I don't think. It's just a sort of plain color. So I wouldn't say that. Do you enjoy loud music? No. You like to dance? Just before the stream, I was listening to some Eurobeat and I was like vibing in my chair, so... Is that the same thing? So I'd like to dance. Not really, if I'm being honest. Would you consider yourself normal? Is anybody normal, right? Is there such a thing as normal? Yeah, let's pretend that there is such a thing as normal. Am I normal? No, I don't think so. Do you love your parents? Of course. Have you ever been lied to? Absolutely. You get angry often. Often. So I definitely can get upset. And sometimes even genuinely angry. But I wouldn't say it's super often. You hold grudges. I prefer to forget. Or, not necessarily like forget, but I prefer to let go. So no, I don't in the end. Have you ever forgiven somebody? Of course, all the time. You ever done something that you knew shouldn't have done but still did it anyway? I guess this is anything, right? There's plenty of stuff that I've done that I knew I shouldn't do, but I still did. Nothing like super crazy, like I've never like killed somebody or something like that. Have you ever lied? Obviously. Have you ever cheated on a test? Funny story. I think Luca would remember this story. I can't remember actually, Luca, if you would remember this story. It was in a language class. I won't get into the language. And we were doing a test. And the teacher walked out of the room because the teacher had to go get something. And the kid next to me literally just picked up my test off my table and started copying my answers down. I was like, hey, bro, don't do that. If the teacher comes back in, I'm gonna get in trouble too. Oh, he wasn't willing. Like, literally, the kid just, like, reached over my table, grabbed my test. And, like, he started copying my answers. Have I ever cheated on the test? I don't think I have, that I can remember. Like, I've always been of the opinion that, like, whatever score I get is whatever score I get. Like, if I didn't prepare for it, that's my own fault. So, no. Well, that's reassuring. Do you think flowers are more beautiful than trees? It's a weird question. Like they keep catching me off guard. I'm not expecting these like sudden transitions in questions. Like, And where do we want to go with this? Because I can go on all sorts of a tangent on this. Like all of nature is, in some way, inherently beautiful, right? But a flower's more beautiful. I'm just gonna go with a pure aesthetic here. Do I think that flowers are prettier than trees? Yes, I do. If I wanted to be an animal instead of a person, I think overall I would prefer to be a human for a range of different reasons. But have I ever wanted to be an animal? Yes. I mean, you can look at me right now. Look at this. Oh, I'm a cat. So I guess so, yes. You believe you have psychic powers? No. I wish I did, but I do not. Have you ever seen a ghost? Not that I'm aware of. Have I ever felt like uneasy in a place, especially an unfamiliar place, and felt like there was something there? Maybe. But have I actually seen a ghost? I would say no. You dream often. That count in fiction? I don't think it counts in fiction. Like, I watched Ghostbusters and I see the ghost throw up on the guy. Oh, I've seen a ghost. It was in Ghostbusters. No, I don't think that counts. Do I dream often? I feel like I dream a lot, but I don't remember what happens in most of my dreams. I guess at that point, you know, if you dream but you don't remember it, did you actually dream? I mean, it still happened, so yes. Do you have nightmares often? I used to, when I was a kid. I used to have nightmares like every other night, pretty much. And there was a period when I was going through my studies that I had sleep paralysis like regularly. But do I have nightmares often anymore? Not really. I don't think I've had a nightmare in a couple months, maybe. I don't know. You suffer from anxiety attacks. I guess it depends how you define an anxiety attack, right? Do I ever feel anxious? Yes. Do I ever feel so anxious that it, like, inhibits my ability to do something? Very rarely, but yes. But is it just a sudden onset? And I, like, hyperventilate and stuff like that? No. Do you suffer from depression? At times, yes. Do you exercise often and stay active? Nope. Is there a particular type of food that you despise? I don't like a lot of vegetables and stuff like that, so I suppose, yeah. Would you consider yourself emotionally wounded? Wounded and healing, I guess. We're all a work in progress, that's what I say. Hey, Melody, how you doing? Yes, I have been hurt before, but trying my best to heal. Have you ever felt betrayed? Hey, Lavinia, how you doing? Lavina, sorry. Hope you're doing well. Have you ever felt betrayed? Yes. You ever feel lost in life? Lost. I definitely feel like I don't always know what I'm doing. But I do have a path. There is like, you know, I don't always see the point of everything. I don't always see why everything's happening or why everything I do. But I can see like a way forward. So I don't think I've ever really felt truly lost. Would you consider yourself a natural leader? No, the opposite. Like I can speak reasonably well. I think. So people tell me. But I wouldn't consider myself I mean, is there such a thing as a natural leader? I feel like leadership is something that you have to work on and build. It's not something that's natural. So I think I disagree with the premise of this question. That, like, I don't think I could consider myself a natural leader because I don't think such a thing as a natural leader exists. If you could push a button to destroy the world, would you press it? No, absolutely not. As bad as, like, the world is, at times, there are good people in it. Like, this world is pretty rotten overall, and there's a lot of really bad people. But even if there's one good person, I don't think we should destroy it. For the sake of that one person, you know? So no, I would not. Do you sometimes dream of being a hero? Dream. So, this is another really good question. Does it literally mean dream as in like, I'm asleep and I'm having a dream? Or is it just like, it could even be daydreams or just thoughts? Like, I've definitely had moments when, you know, I've like seen something on like, in a movie or something, and I've thought like, maybe I could do that sort of thing. Like, you know, in like an action movie or something like that, thinking like, you know, I could do that, or I could like help those people or stuff like that. So yeah, I would say I have. Have you ever been bullied? Yes, but it doesn't really affect me, I think, for the most part. Definitely. Have you ever bullied somebody else? When I was a kid, yeah. I regret it a lot. Would you consider yourself to be a dreamer? I guess, how do you define a dreamer, right? A dreamer. Like, do I have ambitions and plans for the future? Would I consider myself to be a dreamer? Idealistic. Yes, I'll go with that. You sometimes hurt people's feelings unintentionally, absolutely. I don't want to say every day or every other day, but it happens way too often. And it hurts me just as much, if not more than it hurts them. I find space fascinating. Fascinating is an interesting word. I find space fascinating. I don't know if I like the word fascinating here. If the word was interesting, I'd feel much more comfortable answering the question, but interesting and fascinating are just synonyms, no? I find space fascinating. If it wasn't for the word being fascinating here, I think I would definitely say yes. I suppose I'll answer yes. Like, I'll say fascinating as a synonym for interesting, so yeah, I do find it interesting. Would I consider myself to be an artist? Absolutely not. Yeah, fascinating is a very extreme word, I agree. I would absolutely not. If any of you have seen my drawing streams, you would know that I am not an artist. Do you consider yourself to be a good friend? Hmm. That's tough. How do you define a good friend? What does a good friend do? A good friend is there when their friends need them. A good friend isn't afraid of telling the truth, even if it may hurt their friend. So they don't tell lies just to like hold to like boost their ego or stuff like that. They tell them the truth. Good friends spend time together, and it's meaningful time, I feel like. Would I consider myself to be that? I'd say yes, but I'm a work in progress still, as with everybody. Would you consider yourself to be flawed? Nah, I'm perfect, obviously. No, of course I'm flawed. I'm very flawed. Have you ever fantasized about being a supervillain or performing a heinous or egregious crime? I guess, like, again, this comes back to, like, media and stuff like that. I've always wondered what it would be like to be, like, a supervillain. You know, this idea that, like, you just become extremely selfish or... and just take what you want. I've definitely thought about it. Like, I can't deny that, like... and I'm sure almost everybody can agree. Like, you may have watched, like let's use the example. I think, I know Luca's here. Like, the anime Overlord. Like, how cool would it be to be the Overlord in that anime? He's basically a supervillain. Fantasized is a really strong word. That's a good point. Yeah, they're being very tricky with this language. Fantasize is a super strong word. Have you ever thought about it? 100%. Like, let's put it into like a word spectrum. Thought about? I would answer absolutely yes. Wanted to be, or like, tried to be, obviously is a big no for me here. Fantasized is somewhere in the middle. I'll answer yes. Do you believe in perfection? Do I believe in the concept of perfection? There are things that are perfect in nature, right? Perfection. Humans are definitely not perfect. But is there something that is perfect? There are things that are perfect, I believe. Like, even just like a perfect circle, right? Unobtainable perfection, yeah. Like, there is such a concept as something that is perfect. It's like an ideal as well. Yes, yes. That's exactly what I'm trying to get at, Lucas. I agree. Have you ever stolen from someone? I'm trying to think, have I? Like, part of me wants to just say yes because I probably have, and I just don't remember it. One thing I can remember, and obviously this is a stupid example, like, I remember one time being a kid, we're at the supermarket, and my parents said, like, I'll hold on to this bread. Like, and, like, we'll pay for it when we go. And then I just, like, walked out of the shop with the bread. Like, I was, like, 3 or 4 at the time. And obviously my parents took it back and paid for it, but, you know... that's not what I'm using to base this answer off, though, because that's just a silly example. I think this is, have you ever willfully stolen something from somebody? Does it include a concept or an idea? I suppose it is, right? I can't think of any specific examples, but I'm going to answer yes, just because I think it's almost certain that I have. Would you ever kill someone under any circumstances? I stole your heart, yes. Would you ever kill someone under any circumstances? I believe that there are genuinely circumstances when it is... Oh, I need to be very careful with what I say here. I don't want to get TOS'd. There are circumstances when it is acceptable, I think, to kill someone. Like, if a person is like threatening your life, yeah, under any circumstances doing any heavy lifting. Like there are obviously situations when I believe it's justified that you could take another person's life. So yes. If you had 1 day to live, would you tell anyone? Oh shit. Like I wake up. Let's say. Okay, let's create a scene here because it said that we were allowed to create scenarios at the start. It's midnight, and let's say an angel or something like appears before me and says, "In 24 hours, you'll be dead." And they like even show me like exactly how it's gonna happen in like a vision, so I know it's true. Would I tell anyone? I'm not the type of person to say goodbye. I think if I had that time to live, I would spend it being as kind as possible to everyone that I could. I'd tell everyone how much they mean to me, but I don't think I would tell them that I'm going. No. Have you ever told your darkest secrets to someone? My darkest secrets. Yes, I have. You trust me even though you know nothing about me. You're a video game at the bottom of the line, so I do not trust a program. You know who I am. Well, who I am. I guess it depends how we're looking at this, right? Do I know who this character on the screen is? This wizard guy, whatever he is. I don't know who this character is, but do I know what this is? I know exactly what this is. This is a video game at the bottom line. I suppose I'll take it as this. Then again, we don't know that this is the character that's even talking to me. This could just be like, this could be us that's in this picture. I don't know. Do I know who you are? You know, I'll say no, I don't know who you are. Well, I know who you are, okay. If I appeared behind you right now, would you scream? I'm not the type of person to scream. I don't even, like, the thing is, I don't even know if I can scream. Like, I think you guys have seen me, like, when I played the mortuary assistant, I don't know if you guys remember. Like, I don't really scream. I go like, or stuff like that. Like, I take deep breaths and stuff like that. I don't really scream. So I guess no? If I told you that behind you this entire time, would that scare you? Would that scare me? I suppose it would, right? The idea that there's somebody literally behind you when you're doing something like that. Would you consider yourself to be what is this turn in questions? It's like, hey, you scared? Oh, by the way, do you consider yourself an empathetic person? I think I am, in general. I generally try and understand people's perspectives and feelings. Even if maybe I don't necessarily like the person, I still try and at least understand their position. So I would consider myself to be pretty empathetic. But I consider myself to be romantic. Would I consider myself to be that? Yes. Not really. I don't know. Like, I guess it depends. Like, am I trying to be deliberately romantic when I'm talking to somebody that I really like? Not necessarily trying to be deliberately romantic. But I do care a lot about, like, the idea of romance. I suppose, yes. I would say that. Ever been in a physical fight? I actually haven't, if you can believe that. I've never been in a physical fight. Are you prone to headaches or migraines? Prone to. I suppose yes. Like, even if it's not often, I am still prone to them. Like, they do still occur when certain things happen. So yes. Do you look at the ground when you walk? Yes. Are you attracted to the opposite gender? I mean, it says opposite sex, literally, but I'll take this as gender. So yeah, I like women. Would you ever shave your head? Now, here's a really big one, right? Would I ever? Like, I could concoct some crazy scenario here. I suppose I would do it. there is like I'm certain there's a situation where I would do it. I would never say that I would never do it. This question is really strangely worded. Like, would I ever do it? I'm sure there's a circumstance where like somebody says, "Hey, I'll give you $1 billion if you shave your head right now." Even if they said $100,000, I'd probably consider it. So yeah, I would. There are situations in which I would do it. You know people who would never do it, really? Ever? I would absolutely do it. There's circumstances I would do it. Attracted to muscular bodies. Me? Really? No. Interesting. I wouldn't say I'm particularly attracted to muscular. I mean, like, because the first thing that came to mind is I'm thinking of like those like bodybuilders, because I don't think that that's attractive. I'll go with my first. You want to shave your head? I know, Maya. I know you do. This is tricky. Like, I wouldn't say I'm not necessarily... Like, if somebody is, like, toned, that's fine. Like, I'm not really particularly attracted to any body type. Strictly speaking, I should say. I'd say no overall. You ever dance when no one is looking? Yes. Like I said just before this stream, I was listening to some Eurobeat. You trust your best friend entirely? Absolutely. I would. I would say that. Remember your childhood extremely well. Some of these questions are so strange. Like, extremely well. No. It's pretty vague, I think. Would you rob a bank if you could get away with it? No. You ever dream about running from a killer? Absolutely. There are... Definitely. I've had dreams about running from monsters, killers, aliens, whatever, so absolutely. Dream about falling off a cliff. Now, this is a really interesting one. I don't think I've ever had a dream specifically about falling off a cliff. Have I had dreams where I've been falling? Yes. Like, it's... Is it, like, let me ask you this, chat. Do you think it's in the spirit of the answer that I don't strictly fall off a cliff? Like, maybe I fall out of a window or something. Would that still count? I think no. If we're going by the letter of the question, it's no. But if we're going by the spirit of the question, it would be yes. I think we have to go by the letter of the question, right? So literally, have I ever fallen off a cliff? No. But what do you guys think? Because I'm actually kind of stuck on this. I think we have to, like, we've always gone by the letter of the question before, right? So I think we have to say no. Like, I've never specifically been like, oh, there's a cliff and I fall off the cliff. You ever dream about being naked in public? Absolutely not. You enjoy scary movies or books? Yeah, it's very specific. I've enjoyed scary movies before. And not necessarily books, but like creepypastas, stuff like that. I'd say yeah. You enjoy comedic television shows or movies? Yeah, for sure. I love Adam Sandler. Like being the center of attention? No. But like something is always watching you? Yes. I wonder what it would be like to go to space. Yeah. Like again, this is a really broad question. Have I ever wondered what it'd be like in space? Of course I've been like, hey, wouldn't it be neat if I was like up in Jupiter or whatever? I don't know. Have you ever had an out-of-body experience? How do you define an out-of-body experience? Like, I think I know what it means, but what does it actually mean? Didn't Rem say he had one of these? I think Rem's had all sorts of stories. Have I ever had one? I don't think so. I feel like this is one of those things where if you had one, you would know exactly what it means, and you would immediately answer yes. Like he could see his own body lying in bed. Do we count dreams in this? I feel like Maya might be the expert here. Would you count like dreams as an out-of-body experience? I don't think so, right? It's... Even then, even in dreams, I don't know if I have. I feel like I'm always pretty firmly inside my own body. So I'd say no, I don't think I have. Have you ever punched a nun? I've never punched anyone. I like dogs better than cats. Here comes the question. I like dogs better than cats. The thing is, I like them both a lot. Do I like dogs better? I don't think I like them better. Do you prefer to read more than you prefer to watch movies? If you asked me this when I was younger, the answer would have been yes. Now, no. But it just says read. It doesn't say like read fiction or read books. It just says in general, do you prefer to read or watch movies? Because I do a lot of curiosity reading or reading to like learn stuff. But I don't read for fun anymore. I read to like build knowledge or learn stuff. I don't read for fun. It's prefer, so it's for fun, right? So I guess no. Are you still wondering why I asked you if you ever punched a nun? Not really. I sort of moved on already. Do you get starstruck easily? Starstruck is to do with celebrities, right? I'm like, I'm not 100% sure what this term means. I'm pretty sure it's like you see like somebody who's famous, you're like, oh my god, it's Maya Neko-chan. Oh my god, it's Luca Haskell. No, not really. Do you hate going to big parties and social gatherings? Do you even have to ask? Of course. Is your favorite part of your birthday receiving presents? Because I think with that starstruck question, it was easily. I wouldn't say it's easy. Like, certainly there are people when I see them, I'm like, whoa, that's really cool. But it doesn't happen easily or often. Is your favorite part of your birthday receiving presents? I think the presents are nice, don't get me wrong. But I think, especially as I've gotten older, the presents, like, mean less to me. Like, whenever people ask me, like, hey, what do you want for your birthday? I'm just like, I don't really care. I don't want anything. Like, it's nice that they give me the present, but I feel like the thing that's more meaningful is the fact that they actually thought to get me a present rather than the present itself. So no. Have you ever punched a nun? Like, really? Just bam, right in the face, nun punch. Absolutely not. I would never do that. Did I laugh? Yeah, I just did laugh. The WTF in your head are even loud. I guess in my head. Yeah. And I'm eager to get the opportunity to somehow punch a nun? No! What the hell do you think you're going to? Oh, shit. Hmm. But laughing at the punching nun jokes? I don't think so. You definitely know you will. How do you think you're going to it? Yeah, I'm not a good person. You enjoy fantasy fiction games? Oh yeah, let's just completely like drop this whole deep stuff. Yeah, I like fantasy games. Do you do this frequently? How do you define frequently? uh, frequently. How much would you define frequently, chat? Daily? Weekly? Ugh. Frequently. Would you consider it frequent? Would I consider what I do frequent? I wouldn't consider my level as frequent, so no. Yes. Are you more than slightly uncomfortable right now? More than slightly uncomfortable. I'd say I'm slightly uncomfortable. I wouldn't say I'm more than slightly uncomfortable. Is my mouth dry? No. Does profanity make you uncomfortable? No. Do you believe in legendary beasts such as the Loch Ness Monster or Bigfoot? Now, this is a really good question. Because here's the thing. This question's kind of a decoy. Bigfoot, I'm pretty sure, at least the one that's captured on that film, is fake. I think we can all agree on that. And I think with the Loch Ness Monster, again, I don't think that that's real. But do I think that there are such things as those? Or those things could have existed at some point? I feel like they've sort of thrown me off here. Because do I think that there are things that don't... Yeah, benefit the doubt, trusting others, absolutely. Like, do I trust a person's account? Like, I think that such things could have existed at some point. Like, for example, let's look at dragons, right? Pretty much every culture around Earth has dragons in them. Or something similar to it. They may look slightly different, but they're still like this idea of this giant reptilian flying creature, right? It makes me think that there must be some truth to it. Or at least some possibility of truth. So I'd say yes. Are you poor with money management? No, I'm actually pretty good at managing my money, for the most part. Whoa! Choose one of these numbers that you feel resonates with you most in this very moment. Why'd they pick these numbers? I'm not gonna pick 69, guys. 21? What's 9 plus 10? 21? I'd say 7 still, because it's my favorite number. Choose one of these colors that you feel resonates most with you in this very moment. Blue. I like blue. One of these words that feels resonate with you. I knew this had to take a turn at some point. Wretched. Sick. Plagued. Wretched. Don't ask why, but... Blessed. I do feel blessed in my life, so I'll go with that. Am I making like an RPG character or something? What is this? I feel like in a lot of RPGs I usually go with intellect, so we'll go with intellect, why not? You enjoy it? Yeah, I actually do like maths. You speak more than one language fluently? No. Not fluently. I've never visited a country other than my own. You'll be ready for D&D? Oh god, after the first D&D experience, I don't know if I ever want to play it again, honestly. You enjoy coffee? Yeah. You believe in demons? Yes. If you believe in one side, you have to believe in the other, right? So if I believe that there's some sort of higher power, there also be lower powers, right? So yes. You believe in angels? Yes. Are you afraid of sharks? Are you afraid of sharks? Again, this is another question where I have to ask, what does fear mean in this case? Like, am I concerned that if I went into certain places in the ocean, that I could be attacked by a shark and I could die or be seriously injured? Am I concerned about that prospect? Yes. Do I ever put myself in those sorts of situations? No. As a consequence, I'd say I'm not afraid of sharks, because I don't ever go into the ocean, so why would I be afraid of them? No, I'm not afraid of sharks. When we went to the aquarium, Luca, there were sharks around. Do I prefer baths over showers? Absolutely not. Does the smell of perfume or cologne give you headaches? No, I wouldn't say so. Did you see a shadow in your room move in your room a few moments ago? I did not. That's fortunate. Thank you. You ever hear your name being called even when you know no one is calling it? Yes, this actually happens to me. Not often. But it does happen where like I'm just like walking around in public and I just feel like I hear somebody say my name. It's like, did I hear that right? Things in your home often go missing and reappear later. No. Once they go missing, people move my stuff sometimes. And then I have to look for it, and I'm like, oh, there it is. Because this person decided, like, oh, I stored this in a place that was convenient for me, but not for you. Like, I put things where I put them for a reason. I don't put them there for fun. I put them because I'm like, I know where it is now. I wouldn't say it goes missing. You ever hear footsteps around you when you're alone? Yeah. You ever hear random knocking noises around you? Not knocking. You often look at the same time on the clock every day. Okay, so here's one that apologies to any American viewers. And I don't know why this happens. And I think, Luca, you might be able to relate to this as well. It happens more often than not. When I look at the clock and it's nighttime, I see the time 9:11. I'm not joking. This isn't like me making a joke or something like that. Like, I notice that time a lot. So, yes. I wouldn't say it's every day, but it's very often. Ever felt being grabbed, your feet being grabbed at night while sleeping? No. Do you have any pets? Not right now. Is your favorite color green? No, it's blue. You're attracted to a family member? Absolutely not. If you won the lottery, would you share the money with anyone? There are people I would share it with. It doesn't say I have to share it with everybody. Yeah, 420 is another good one. Would I share the money with anyone? There are absolutely people I would share the money with. If you could be the dictator of your own country, would you accept the role? Oh, yes. I wonder what it would be like to be in prison. Not really. It seems pretty miserable. Do you like fishing? Nah, I don't like leaving my house. Do you like hunting? No. Do you like camping? No. Do you like guns? Do I like the concept of guns? Like, I'm definitely, like, as somebody who's played a lot of FPS and stuff like that in my time, I'm definitely curious about them, so I'd say yeah. Are you getting tired of answering questions? No, not really. I could go for a while. Would you consider us to be kinky? Wait. Not really. I think I'm pretty vanilla, if we're being honest. Eyes are the window to the soul. Do you agree? I think you can tell a lot of people by looking them in their eyes. There are some people that just have, like, dead eyes, and you can tell, like, this person's, like, been through some shit. There are other people you look in their eyes and you think this person's, like, got a really beautiful soul. I'd say so. Do you always keep your promises? No, I don't. Hey, thanks for the redeem, man. Would you ever completely trust someone who's lied to you? So I'm going to interpret this as, like, a serious lie. It's not like Luca saying, hey, look over there. It's like, there's a dog and then there's no dog. I'm not going to count that as a lie. But Maya, it's not exactly the same thing. Like, you can forgive somebody, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll trust them. Like, it's a slightly different thing. I understand what you're saying, but I think there's a slight distinction there. But that is a fair point. Would I ever completely trust someone who's lied to you? Not completely. Are you an only child? I'm not. You ever enjoy being drunk? I've never been drunk. Like tattoos? Absolutely not. Do you enjoy being high in any form? No. You believe you have a soul? Yes. Did you cry this week? This week? I know I cried within the last couple of weeks, but is it this week? This week. So I'll say from last Sunday to this Sunday, have I cried? Yeah. You're upset with someone right now. No, not right now. Is someone you're not being completely honest with daily? Completely honest daily? No. Do you understand how this works yet? Not really. You answer the questions twice, your truths may change. It's not just about answering the questions. It's about the time you spend answering them and the combination. If you answer the questions twice, your truths may change. I get that part. It's saying, like, if I ask you the same question again, you might answer it slightly differently. Like, slightly later. Like, maybe you got some new perspective or something. It's about the time you spend answering them and the combination. What does the combination you answer them in mean? Like, I get what it's saying, where it's like the time you spend answering them. But what does it mean, the combination you answer them in? Like, the questions I feel like are in a static order, no? There's many different variables you never guessed. Do you understand? Honestly, I don't really understand what you're saying. I'm wondering if the end of the test is coming soon based on the previous question you just answered. Actually, yes, I am thinking that. I would tell you this entire process was planned here just for you, specifically you, to learn something about yourself and anyone else who bothers just using a byproduct of its attention. Would you believe that? Nah. Are you afraid of being abandoned? Oh, God. Yes. Are you afraid of dying alone? Hmm. Yeah. You worry that one day you'll be unexpectedly murdered. There's always that fear. I'll ask you this question first, it might influence your answer on the next one. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I do think that. Are you always on guard, waiting to fend off an attack? I'm naturally a pretty paranoid person. But always on guard? No, there's times when I let down my guard. Do you feel like I know you yet? No, I don't think so. Have you heard any strange noises while answering these questions? Like, other than the noises that are coming from my headphones, no. I think we have enough information about you. Whether you skipped questions... What do you mean skipped questions? There's questions I could have skipped? Or did my answers for some questions dictate which questions I got next? Answered honestly or dishonestly, took loads of time to respond, or answered quickly without reading or understanding properly, I've been able to tell. I'm calculating your results. I'm analyzing you very carefully. I'm judging you. Based on what you told me, this is what I can conclude. Alright, here we go, folks. One word describes you more than any other. Here we go, I'm ready for this. It's gonna be like shithead or something like that. That word is talented. No way. Get lost. Personally, I think you're more talented than you realize. I think you're more talented than anyone realizes as well. No, that's not true. If you just spent a little bit less time out of your own head, you might get a lot further. You're by far your own worst enemy. You need to seriously cut that shit out and start trusting your natural talents and abilities more. No one knows you better than you. However, you must pay heed to this warning. You're way too overcritical for yourself at times, and it can lead you to breaking down yourself down way further than you ever should. If you're not careful, you can ruin your entire potential to be successful in life just by not paying attention to when you need to self-reflect and when you need to give yourself the credit you deserve. Start being more positive, you'll do just fine. Please don't fall into any self-made traps or self-fulfilling prophecies. Try to look at yourself in a more positive light and view yourself from a different perspective. You might be thinking this is easier said than done, but let's be real. What isn't easier said than done? The fact of the matter is, if you only knew what others saw when they look at you, you'd never doubt yourself ever again. Your secret word is talented. Remember this word. This will come in handy. I feel like this is pretty broad. I mean, it was like I was saying before with If the secret word is assigned to you at the end of your session, leave it in a comment for us. We'll be selecting some of you based on your answers to be included, and I'm not interested in that. Don't be afraid. This is an opportunity for you to be part of history. A chance for you to be part of something greater. Be sure to note your secret word in the comments. You don't wish to be part of an oncoming project, so simply leave your secret word out of your comments. We'll not be selecting your name. I appreciate any and all comments you leave, and we'll read them thoroughly. Thank you for taking the time to answer these questions. I know they've been of some help to you, and even if they aren't yet, it will make sense very soon. Trust me on that. Okay, so there are other games. So I do also have Hypothesis Rising and Final Revelation. I'd like to support us for the... Yeah. There you go. Alright. Well, that was the test. Interesting. Well, that was interesting. I would definitely say that I enjoyed that process. It was fun discussing it with you guys and figuring out what some of the questions meant. Should do it again and make them it's just like a horny guy off stream. Yeah, that'd be funny. But yeah, that was the test. I'll definitely do the other ones. Um, Probably not right away. I'll probably give it a bit of time because I think it would obviously influence my answers too much if I did them back to back. But I'll definitely check out the other ones too. Um, but yeah, thank you, Maya, for recommending this to me, and thank you everyone who. All the others are linked to this first one, the questions and all. So should I do them back to back, Maya? What do you think? I'll trust your judgment on this. You can space them. I think it's better if I space them out a bit. Like, I don't think it's good to just like do 3 of them back to back. I feel like my judgment is going to be too clouded if I do that. But yeah, that was interesting. So thank you for that. Lucas says that he was a bit disappointed in the ending. It's about what I was expecting, I think. So I wouldn't say that I was disappointed. But I thought that was interesting. So thank you for the recommend there, Maya. Appreciate it a lot. We'll definitely be back with the other 2 tests. Maybe another week or 2. Questions get more and more intense. I'll definitely look forward to trying out the other ones. So we'll definitely do that on a future stream. So look forward to that, folks. And hopefully you'll join me for that too.